The third step in the RAP framework is A, attain distance before deciding. In the book Decisive, the authors talked about this long web series called Confessions of a Car Salesman, and I've linked to it in my deep dive post, which is in the description down below. What that was is someone that went and worked as a car salesman for a little while to learn the business. And one of the things that he found out was basically people, when they came, they didn't want to even talk to a salesman because they were afraid. And actually, what's interesting is I live near a car dealership, and if I drive home at night after the dealership is closed, you'll always see people at the car lot walking around looking at cars because they want to be there when there aren't any salesmen there. And the reason is because we know we're afraid that we're going to end up buying a car that we shouldn't buy. We're going to end up buying a car that we can't afford, and because we don't want to give into that emotion, we try to stay away from it. We're scared of dealing with the salesman. And you can see a car salesman, they also play on that short-term emotion. So when you go to a car dealership, they don't ask you what features you need in a car. They'll ask you, what color do you like best? Do you want to take it for a test drive? Do you want to establish a connection with this car? I remember some years ago when Lexus first came out with the car that parallel parked itself, the salesman was showing us, hey, this is the car that parks itself. And I looked at the sticker and I said, how come it only gets 18 miles a gallon? And he got really upset with me, like, why are you paying attention to the gas mileage? This is a car that can park itself. But they want you to get connected and wowed so that thinking makes you act right away. So how do you counteract that short-term emotion? You have to attain distance before deciding. One of the strategies that they give in the book is the 10-10-10 framework. How would you feel about this decision 10 minutes from now, 10 months from now, 10 years from now? And that helps you also to understand the magnitude of the decision that you're making. If you're buying a piece of gum, that's not a decision that requires a lot of foresight. But buying a car, maybe you do need to see, how will I feel about this decision 10 months from now? Am I going to be happy making the payments? Am I going to be happy with what we've got? And so that's a way of kind of taking yourself out of that immediate situation and saying, okay, well, 10 years from now, how am I going to look at this? How is it going to affect me? How is that decision going to play out? Another strategy for attaining distance is pretend that you're giving a friend advice. See, one thing that happens when we're making a decision for ourselves is we get caught up in the particulars and the nuances and the details of our situation, which lets us rationalize away good advice and allows us to kind of keep the status quo or keep what we're attached to. If we pretend we're giving advice to a friend, we're often able to cut right through all of that, see the issue for what it is, and give them sound advice. So always pretend, if my friend was in this situation, what advice would I give them? It tends to bring a little bit more clarity to the situation. Again, you're not going to eliminate emotion, but attaining distance allows you to try to minimize its effects a little bit.